after all these years, 2 decades in the game, you're a husband now, you're a father now, you've accomplished it all, you've done so many great things. Why in the world does Seth Rollins have a chip on his shoulder?
I just feel like in some ways, I've never gotten my just due. There's always I've never been the guy, you know? I've never been the one on the marquee at WrestleMania. It was John, it was Roman. In some regards, when I was at Ring of Honor, it was Nigel or it was Brian. And I was always the guy on the come up or on the underneath, or I was kind of the second or the next big thing type thing, you know? And that always just eats at me. It eats at me so much. And so I don't know where that competitive spark comes from, but it drives me insane. And the thing is, if I was that guy, I don't know if it would just go away. I always would find some way to put the chip there. It's just the way I operate best. You know, I have to have it for some reason in everything, for better or worse sometimes. And so, yeah, I never felt like, even when I had won the title at WrestleMania, cashed in, great moment, I still felt like I was second fiddle to Roman. I still felt like he was the guy. It's just you're the placeholder until he's totally ready, and we're totally ready to put the ball in his hands. But for now, you're a step ahead, so we're going to give you this, and then, you know, we'll move on to what we really want to be. But it's just going to take a few months. So no, I've never ever felt like in my time in WWE that the company was like, yep, he's our guy, put his face on everything.
Do you feel like you're close to that point, close to getting to that point?
I don't know, man. I wonder often if because I live in the Roman era that's just never going to happen. You know, the only time I was even considered, I think, for the main event of WrestleMania, Roman, when he got leukemia, and he was out from August till January or whatever, February it was, and I was kind of second behind in the little babyface column there, and so, you know, I got slotted in, and so I feel like it's one of those things. I'm like the best I can hope for is to be the Edge to his Cena, or like the Savage to his Hogan. You know, and sometimes I just feel like that's just the way the cookie crumbles. You know, doesn't mean I don't think that I'm better than he is, or that I can perform, or that I can draw at that level. I certainly think all those things, but it's not my sandbox. I don't make those decisions.
What's your relationship like with him?
With Roman?
Yeah.
Oh, great. Yeah. He's great.
There's no, I don't know, animosity there. There's no, dare I say, envy or jealousy or anything like that.
No. It's very healthy competition. Like when we started the Shield, the goal was always to be the three of us at the top of the industry. That was always the goal. And it was never like, oh, I'm going to help you and you're going to help me and we're going to help him. We were all using each other, not like helping each other. And I don't mean that in a negative way, but we all knew what we brought to the table, but we all knew our ultimate goal was to be the top, the literal best. No one could touch us. And, but there was never any falling out, never any like jealous, never any, you don't deserve this, I deserve this type of thing. It's never been like that. He is immensely talented at what he does, and he is incredible as champion, has been, and in his role, like especially obviously the last 2 years have been super special for him as a performer. And so I take nothing away from him, but I just can't do it in my heart to tell myself that someone's better than me or can do this better than I can, you know. So at the end of the day, again, it's not my sandbox and these aren't my decisions to make. So
I think fans would be happy to hear that. Just curious, what about Dean Ambrose, aka Jon Moxley? Do you have a relationship with him?
Yeah. I mean, I don't talk to him as much. Obviously, we're both
see him,
opposite schedules and different stuff. But our baby girls are close to the same age, and he's not much of a texter or like he's an in-person cat.
I'm shocked.
Yeah, he's not much of a texter, a phone guy. So he's an in-person dude. So if there's ever a chance, you know, when we were in Cincinnati last time I was there, I popped in at the house and said hi and all that and checked in on him. And I again do the same thing periodically just to see how he's doing and stuff. But I'm close with Renee, so we're always exchanging baby pictures and what's new with the kids and all that stuff. But yeah, again, never any animosity. He's great. Again, at the top of his game, doing his thing over in AEW. So nothing but the best. I've never, between the three of us, and I can't speak for the two of them,
right,
but they were closer than I was with either of those guys as like friends off camera. So I assume that they're, you know, still chill. I've never heard anything to the contrary. But yeah, I've always had a great relationship with those guys.
What was going through your head as that happened? Because it seemed terrifying.
Man. It was so fast though that I didn't really have any time to process it until, like, I only remember, the only thought I remember having is when he was on top of me and kind of they were already pulling him away, but he had like a handful of my hair and I was just trying to kind of punt him off me with whatever foot I had underneath me.
I think you had a guillotine maybe in there.
My instinct was to grab his head immediately, just to control his head, and I have no jiu-jitsu training at all, so whether I did anything right or wrong is completely instinctive. But yeah, my instinct was just, as soon as I knew that someone was upon me, just to control his head as best I could, because if he couldn't posture up, then he probably wasn't going to get anything done, hoping that he didn't have any weaponry in his hands, which thankfully he did not. So, but yeah, dude, I was just thankful that security was there. I was thankful that he wasn't armed in any way. That could have gone very badly. And then in the aftermath, I just felt bad for him. When I kind of saw online what his situation was and that he'd possibly been catfished out of some money and that, his mental capacity wasn't, great. I just felt bad. I felt bad that there wasn't anybody in his life that could kind of help him out. And so it was an unfortunate situation that I think was, handled as best as it could. What
was your reaction when you found out that Vince was retiring and Triple H was taking over?
I couldn't believe it. It's one of those things where
Where were you?
Yeah, you'll never forget.
Yeah.
I was in the airport. We were heading out to a live event. We were flying out on a Friday. The thing went out at like 3 o'clock Central, 4 Eastern, roughly, I think it was. And so I got the text. I was coming through the security line, and I got the text, check your app for a note from the chairman or whatever, and click it. Sure enough, he just is retired. And I was like, Becky was with Rue down looking it up. They had a statue of a deer in the airport in Iowa. And she was looking at the deer statue, and I was like, she just saw my face from a distance. She's like, what's wrong? I'm like, did you get the text? She's like, no, what? And I had her look at it, and she was like, oh my God, what? That's it? And I think both of us were just like, what? And I always thought, like, Vince is older, so I thought, at some point in my tenure with WWE, as I intend to be here for quite a long time, he would retire, be forced out, die on the job, who knows. But when it happened, it was so abrupt. I was not prepared, and like emotionally, it got me emotional because, I love Vince. He's been like a father figure to me over the past 10 years. He's someone that his approval means a lot to me, and so when I kind of was just like, wow, is it the last time I'm ever gonna see Vince? Like, am I ever gonna see him again? And when you have such a close relationship with someone, ups and downs, it felt like I was losing a friend and losing a mentor, and like, we owe so much to him. Without him hiring me and paying me, I don't have a wife that that I have now, and my kid, all of that. My livelihood is a lot in part to him, and so he's given me the opportunity to live out my dream. With what he has created. And so there was just a lot of respect there and a lot of love that I had cultivated and a good relationship with him over the years.